ELI5 How come there are no viruses that do good to our bodies? How come every single virus on the planet usually just does us harm? Why is there no recorded viruses that, I don't know, make us remember better, or think more clearly, or anything beneficial at all? The answer for any questions regarding evolutionary biology, beginning with why is there not, is usually always because the corresponding ecological niche either doesn't exist or hasn't been open long enough for an organism to fill it. You are looking at the world from a human perspective. Viruses are perhaps the most evolved and viable species if they can be classified as such on Earth. They find a host and then use the host resources to multiply. And they have been doing so for millions of years. When we discover extraterrestrial life, I imagine they might be non-cellular life like viruses. There's also a bias towards identifying the viruses which cause problems. Although they are more commonly associated with causing disease and, at times, devastating pandemics, viruses have also played an important role in human evolution, and without them you wouldn't be here at all. There are viruses that do good or are just neutral so far as we know in our bodies. We have a human virome. We naturally carry an estimated 300 trillion viruses in our bodies and 10x that in bacteria. A few years ago there was an article I had read about how some 50 of our biomatter is non-human organisms made up of bacteria, viruses and fungi. Pretty neat stuff. There is a new area of research into bacteriophages, viruses that attack bacteria. For every species of bacteria on Earth, there is theoretically a corresponding species of bacteriophage. It's been shown that you can use tailored bacteriophages to treat some bacterial infections. I haven't looked into this much myself, so if you're interested give it a Google. It's much easier to destroy something than to build something. Virus doesn't care about their host being alive, they don't even try. It's just a blob of information that randomly mutated to something that allows it to spread rapidly. They are not a main part of the evolution process, but its side effect. That's why wide consensus is that viruses are not even alive. When was the last time you went to your doctor and said, "Hey doc, I'm feeling good," even seem to be thinking more clearly? Can you test me to find out what isn't wrong? We just don't do that. We've only very recently recognized that bacteria plays a positive role. It's likely that viruses do too, but we just don't know any of the details yet. There were viruses like that a long time ago. These viruses directly affected the evolution of our mammal ancestors. These viruses were assimilated in our genes at some point and it's believed that caused the development of the bigger and smarter brains, placenta and many other changes. And at that point they've stopped being actual viruses. The premise is incorrect. There are a great many viruses that live inside us and benefit us by being there. A few are described here. The truth is that the human virome is a subject of study that is still in its infancy, because such viruses are already part of our DNA. Literally. That's where the term comes from. Your ancestors already contracted those beneficial viruses, which quickly in evolutionary terms spread throughout the entire gene pool. At this point, only the harmful ones are left roaming the wild. Viruses are being used right now during cancer research in the hopes that they can be used for gene therapy. They'll probably be used for other things like dementia treatment soon enough. Bacteriophages are viruses that attack harmful bacteria, and they exist inside humans. Does cowpox count? Humans discovered a few hundred years ago that people who milked cows rarely got the highly infectious and deadly smallpox virus. It turns out that the less deadly cowpox virus was similar enough to smallpox that it conferred immunity to smallpox. There possibly are, but it's not researched well enough to say for sure. Look at this, for example, there are viruses that attack bacteria which could be beneficial for us. But a virus infecting human cells is always harmful since its main goal is to hijack the cell's machinery in order to make more copies of itself. Here are 3. Cowpox. Redundoviruses. Some probably most likely prevent respiratory diseases. Bacteriophages live in our bodies fighting diseases while leaving us alone. CRSphage is a neat one to read about. Maybe somewhere helpful to us. I always thought this was really interesting. There are viruses in our genome that are essential for the correct formation and function of the placenta. Nobody has really given a proper answer, which is disappointing. We know of bacteria that are good for us, what of viruses?